Hey yo, this is a new episode of Steven from the All Time Podcast. Welcome to 2024 Wrestling Year End Review. I am Peyton All Time, and here is my top 10 wrestlers of 2024 list. Number 10, Zilpha 2. Number 9, The Rock. Number 8, Braun Breaker. Number 7, Randy Orton. Number 6, Seth freaking Rollins. Number 5, the OTC Roman Reigns. Number 4, LA Knight. Yeah. Number 3, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. Number 2, CM Punk. Number 1, main event Jey Uso. Yee.
And what's your favorite match of the year?
The CM Punk and Drew McIntyre Hell in a Cell match.
Really?
Yeah.
And anything else you have to say to us?
Um, yes, I have one or two or three things to say. Um, I like the feud with Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn, and I like the feud with Seth freaking Rollins and the best in the world, CM Punk. Um, and and my favorite top wrestler in 2024 right now is actually main event Jey Uso.
And one more thing before we get up out of here. Um, you know that we don't talk about Sami Zayn or
I know.
promote anything Sami Zayn on this podcast, right?
Yeah, I know.
Do you like Sami Zayn?
Not at all.
Enough said, like father, like son.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Peace.
You heard the kids say it. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Stephen Alltime, and I serve to you as the host of the All Time Podcast, where we bring you nothing but the best in hip hop and wrestling, all combined in one, and where we definitely do not promote anything from that fake Uso, Sami Zayn. And this is the Wrestling 2024 year end review, however you want to call it. And my special guest hosts tonight.
Hey, what's up? What's up, everyone? Before we get going with my intro, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you show us some love down in the comments below. We will answer those comments. If you can't tell already, you recognize the voice. It's the greatest there is, the greatest there was, and the greatest there ever will be. Derek Alltime.
And you already know your favorite co-host, one half of the tag team champions, the leader and ruler of the podcast world, the Black Eric Bischoff, Trap all time, and always remember, I am better than you, and you know it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am him and I have arrived. The Black Phenom, the showstopper and podcast talker, the man, the head of the table, Harlem's own, where everybody's saying Cavallo. Yeah.
Boys, it's that time of year. It's actually, did we do this last year? I don't remember doing a full wrestling year review.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, can't remember. It's been a big year. It's been a big 2024. Wrestling's been on a whole different level. To me, being back into wrestling for the last couple of years has been nonstop action consistently, but this year was something really special for wrestling. Whether it was for WWE, whether it was for just a Netflix deal, whether it was different titles changing hand. Yeah, it's
not just WWE, just wrestling in general, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and I find a lot of the older fans that fell out of love with it came back. I would say 2023, even 2024, man, because I've been putting people onto wrestling. I'm having conversations with people that I didn't think I would have conversations about wrestling. So it's on a whole different level, and I'm super happy to be back into it. And have 5 days out of a 7-day week just completely watching wrestling. So boys, let's start off. Tonight we are going to give you a bunch of lists. We're going to give you our most impactful moments of the year. We're going to give you the top 5 matches of 2024. And we're going to give you our individual top 10 wrestlers of 2024. But before we get into it, I just want to go through all of you's pause and want to know what was your thought of 2024 so far. Trap, let's start off with you.
My thoughts on 2024. My thoughts on the 2024 wrestling year. I feel like it's been a good year in wrestling. You had in the beginning of the year, you had some surprises in the Royal Rumble from different companies. You had Sting last retirement match this year. We had the Final Boss come back this year. We seen the arrival of Jacob Fatu this year. So like wrestling has really been good to us in 2024, just as in a whole, not even just WWE, but like just like everything, even with the whole cross promotions with TNA doing stuff with WWE and AEW, and Joe Hendry going to NXT, doing stuff over there. So just the whole Forbidden Door thing that's been going on this year too, also, I think has really sensationalized wrestling even more. And then of course with the deal that WWE has with Netflix, is going to, make them even more bigger than what they are. So overall, I feel like wrestling this year was in a good place, honestly, as a whole. So those are my thoughts.
Cavallo?
So I kind of second what Trap say, but I also feel like after WrestleMania, like besides the little like debuts from Jacob Fatu and the other Blood members, I feel like nothing really, like there was no really shock value to me like that went above and beyond like how WrestleMania happened. Like there was nothing that I could look back on after WrestleMania and be like, wow, like I want to like rewatch that over, Like
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, after WrestleMania, I feel like there's not a lot. Like the new Bloodline storyline is cool, but it's not as entertaining or interesting as the one previously with the original. But I mean, I feel like it was a okay year. Like I don't think it was anything grand in my opinion that made
That's because you
me
just watched WWE.
So nothing
Probably.
after
WWE.
WrestleMania? Nothing after
I
WrestleMania.
mean, that gave me that OMG moment, like that wow factor that made me want to go back on YouTube and rewatch videos over. Not really. That was that
Really?
big? I mean, maybe we can talk about it during this podcast of what occurred that was so big, that so monumental, that was bigger than WrestleMania or on the same level. I feel like once WrestleMania happened, it was kind of like a decrease. There was a few injuries. People were gone. Roman Reigns was gone for a while. CM Punk was gone for a while. Seth Rollins was gone for a while. A lot of people was gone. So it was a lot of, I don't know. I don't think it was, I don't feel like the plateau was, as high as it was from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, in my opinion.
Just to on that point, before we get into Derek, I thought before Mania was a bit, it was starting off the year slow. And then once Mania ended and we were anticipating things to happen, I was getting that shock value. Maybe not all the PLEs were amazing, but like the things that, like the main storylines and what was happening, like Punk Drew.
Yeah, but it was mostly promos until the end of the summer.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The promos were phenomenal. They were fantastic.
I feel like that because y'all only watch WWE. I think that's why I feel like that. Yeah, I feel like it wasn't really no more because you see how I explained, like wrestling as a whole. Like I gave you some WWE stuff, TNA stuff, AEW stuff. So like just wrestling as a whole, overall, I felt like was a pretty good year.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't think it was. I don't think it was on the same high as like even the Raw after WrestleMania. It was a big letdown for me. And usually that's one of the episodes that's really big. I think we spoke about that like earlier. Like it just wasn't what it used to be. Like I feel like they was on the high. Like they could have done so much with who they have signed to their company, and I just feel like it just wasn't as good as it could have been. I think it could have been a lot of improvements, in my opinion, for WWE.
Yeah.
Derek.
Yeah, I think it was a good year for wrestling, to be perfectly honest. I think the WWE did some really, really good things in terms of storylines. I think we have a really good combination in terms of what's going on right now. I think the WWE are doing by far the best work in terms of telling stories, cutting promos, and I think AEW is there to sort of like fulfill that craving that we have in terms of just high quality wrestling matches. Yeah, overall, I genuinely think it was a good year for us and could be better. Absolutely. But I think it's a good sign for where it's going to go from here. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Let's get into the most impactful moment for you of the year. And I want to start this one off with Cavallo because I'm super confused on
What are you confused about?
I still don't get it. I look, I found that everything that was happening after WrestleMania to be like way more interesting. And
Okay, so let me explain.
to this
Right?
day, just till today, till what we saw a couple of days ago to a week ago regarding just like the Netflix and them being at the office and having Punk and Rollins and Solo and the Bloodline and Heyman come out and just Kevin Owens show up at the office with the security and that he stole the winged the belt. Like just that's super interesting. I find they're getting back to where it's just not stale people talking on a microphone and just having a lot more energy and a lot more wow factor and a lot more like, wow, is he really doing that? Is that the direction they're gonna go in? Like just what Kevin Owens did with pile driving Orton and then pile driving Cody Rhodes and taking them both out of action. That's something I haven't seen in a while. I don't know, but go. The floor is yours.
Okay, so I put the most impactful moment, and I'm going to explain why. I put the formation of the new bloodline for this year, and I say that because it affected a lot of different other storylines. Like it affected like how right now Steph was mad at Sami for joining, like Sami and Jay for like going back with them. It affected Roman Reigns coming back and him potentially having issues with, well, not potentially, but him having issues with Solo and potentially with The Rock. Like that one storyline impacted so many other situations, whether it be on Raw and SmackDown. So I feel like that was very impactful. Like even with Paul Heyman being out and then coming back and bringing CM Punk into the fold and having CM Punk and Roman Reigns together, like it just affected so many different. One storyline affected like so many different people. So that's why I picked the most impactful moment.
Which is after Mania, but continue.
Yeah, but that's one moment, but that affected everything. But what I'm saying is that after Mania, right? Mania was so big that I felt like maybe I just was expecting more to happen. Like you keep bringing up this Drew and CM Punk thing. Yeah, the promos were good, but I personally don't want to see promos for 3 months. It was entertaining. And they did what they had to do because they did what they had to do because CM Punk was injured. But I would have hoped that they would have been able to fight like when they started. But it was what it was. But a lot of good things are happening now, like the Netflix thing that just happened. That was good, but that just happened recently. But all the other things, people get injured all the time. Like, oh, he piles out Randy Orton and Randy Orton's gone. Randy Orton was gone before. Like, people get injured all the time and get carried out. Cody Rhodes just got carried out. That's not nothing spectacular to me that makes me want to be like, oh my God, that moment was so good. Let me go back and watch it on YouTube. Like, I'm just saying that there wasn't a lot of OMG moments that was so grand to me that was on the same high as WrestleMania had me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Derek, your most impactful moment of 2024.
I really went back and forth with this one because I was debating on whether or not I would take something that really impacted the year of 2024 or whether something happened in 2024 that I feel is going to have the biggest impact in the long term. So in terms of the most impactful moment that I chose for this year, I chose the creation of the Intercontinental and US Women's Championships. Because I feel like that sets up the future in terms of showcasing more superstars, having more women's matches, and really trying to push that envelope a lot. And I feel like that was a very big decision that was made in 2024 that I feel is going to impact the future years of wrestling. And for that reason, that's the event that I put.
That was good. That was good.
I like that.
That was cool.
I can't even say it. That was mine. That was mine. I mean,
really?
The same thing. No, that was really my thing. That was really exactly what he said. That was exactly was my thing. That was gonna say that is the most impactful moment. I feel like because again, there's a lot of women wrestlers. You still got Charlotte, Becky, and a lot of women coming back. They can't keep fighting over that one title. So introducing the mid card title gives them something to fight for, gives them more storylines. Raw is going back to 3 hours. SmackDown is going back to 3 hours anyway, so it makes sense. So they'll have more time, and everything is good now. So yeah, so to me, that was definitely one of the most impactful moments of 2024, introducing the women Intercontinental and the women um United States champion, which by the way, Chelsea Green won, which I think was a good choice. By that, she deserved it. I love Chelsea Green. She was a good
Over
first
Mia
choice for
Yim,
it.
who's been killing on all three shows.
I get that, but did you hear the pop from when Chelsea Green got the pin? You gotta
I
go with
mean,
that.
so we go with the pop and not with the
It's
person who put the
not
most work
it's
in. Okay.
you can't say Chelsea didn't put the work in. Chelsea put the work in too.
Always.
I don't think
That's
she
what
put more
I'm
work in. I don't
saying.
think she put more work in than Meeta. Meeta was playing on
And they fought.
NXT, SmackDown, Raw, like every week. Like,
And
come on.
Chelsea Green was too. Chelsea Green showed up on NXT with Piper Niven. She fought on Raw. She fought on SmackDown. She took some crazy bumps this year. Like Chelsea Green, she has the charisma.
All right.
Like she has the character. Like you, and not only that, she was a heel. And the fact that they're cheering for her naturally, like they didn't turn her baby face. The fans just started cheering for her.
They did,
So
the fans do a lot of time now. But
so
I
that's
just hope that Triple H keeps, makes these mid card titles important. Don't just get it just because you want
of course.
another women's title and then they just fighting over a regular title, because sometimes the men's mid card title don't even be defended that
Right.
much. So I just hope that he does good with the titles.
But yeah, but that's my most iconic moment for 2024. Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna go with the return of the OTC Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Look, you guys want to talk about a guy that was booed, a guy that people hated, one of the biggest heels in wrestling for the last 4 years, lose the title to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, leave. They create another bloodline. They give the Ulafala to Solo Sikoa. And SummerSlam main event, Cody Rhodes versus Solo. Everybody knowing or have a feeling that he was going to come back, but not knowing when. And not Cody Rhodes taking out Solo or Solo taking out Cody, where one of them was standing in the ring. They were both down on the mat. And the song played, just made it even that more impactful because you had no idea what he was going to do and whose side he was going to take. And as soon as he came out, the fucking stadium exploded. Like, go rewatch the videos. You're rolling your eyes, Kaval. I have no idea why. You don't like anything. You have zero interest.
No. I have one thing. You just said the man most hated. Are we not forgetting before he left how many people put their ones up when his song come on? How many people cheer for him? He wasn't the most hated. People cheer for bad guys these days. That's not nothing brand new. People loved Roman before WrestleMania. Let's not act like he was just the most hated, the biggest heel. He still had a lot of fans.
So many people wanted him to lose so that Cody could finish his story. But he came back and people were on his bandwagon more than anything. They were chanting OTC before they even knew what OTC stood for. It was just the full impact of how he came out, how he just stood there, went to the ring, took out Solo, left and looked at Cody, and it was just like something nobody has ever seen. And I found that it took wrestling into a different lane, having Roman Reigns finally be a babyface and for people to be for it.
I agree.
And yeah, you agree. And it was just like, to me, it was like it made me get invested in Roman Reigns a lot more to see what he is able to do as a babyface. Because as a heel, we know he has it. As a heel, we know he could do it. And he's being a babyface without the title, just trying to take his position back, just trying to take his name back. And that SummerSlam impact was like, I was watching it. Derek, were you there when we were watching it? I think you were. Anyways, it was me, a couple of other people. Were like 6-7 guys watching it, and everyone was like not shocked, but excited that he came back. I was super excited.
I have a question, Steven. So let's say, for example, right, hypothetically speaking, right? Let's say during this match, right, hypothetically between Solo and Roman Reigns, right? Let's say Solo gets injured, right? He's out for months. Do you think, even though he's bad right now, don't you think that when he comes back, the fans are gonna be cheering for him and saying, "I love you, Solo"? This happens all the time when somebody leaves and they come back. The fans do that regardless. The fans, we knew the fans were gonna cheer for Roman Reigns once Solo took over. We knew that. That was not unexpected.
Solo
We
doesn't
knew
have
the
that
fans
much
were
of an
gonna.
impact. Solo is great at what he does. You'll see what I have to say about him in the next couple of categories. But Roman
I'm
Reigns is of that level.
No, I know that. I'm just saying that I feel like because of who he's intertwined with, if he was to go for a while and come back and be good and help Roman Reigns, the fans are going to cheer for him. The
Not
fans
as
just
much
Jacob,
as
respect.
Roman Reigns.
Jacob Fatu already got over the "I love you" Solo to the crowd.
Yeah, as I'm saying.
They already
So,
say that. And
and,
Tama Tonga got over the he got
so
that over too.
imagine a Solo leave and come back from
So
6 months now. They're
they're
gonna be like,
gonna
"I
be
love you,
like,
Solo,"
"Wait,
tearing that
Solo,
OD.
exactly."
They do that
Yeah.
all the time. We're so what did Daniel Bryan say? We're fickle. We're so fickle. We like puppets. We're
Daniel
gonna cheer for people.
Bryan.
Brian Danielson. We're gonna cheer for the people when they return, even though they was bad. We just do that. That's just who we are. So I wasn't shocked that we was chanting OTC because they was already putting the little breadcrumbs that Solo was trying to take over for him. So it wasn't a shock. But that's your most impactful thing, and I agree with you. So
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
no problem.
Let's get into the top 5 matches of 2024. We're going to start this one off with Derek. Derek, I want to hear your top 5 matches of 2024, please.
All right. So before I get going on my actual top 5, I have some honorable mentions, as I always do on these lists. I do have Gunther and Zayn from WrestleMania. I do think that was a really good match. I do, everything made sense. I just think it was really good wrestling. It was probably Gunther's best match of the year. Next up, I have Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman. That monster match where they destroyed the ring. I think, listen, it was just a fun match. Nothing technical about that whatsoever. It was just a fun match to watch. They really went after it. I think anytime you get two really giant dudes duking it out, I always think it makes for great entertainment. And then we're going to get into the actual top 5. At number 5, this might be a recency biased, and if it is, I'm sorry. Number 5, we have Braun Breaker versus Ludwig Kaiser versus Sheamus. I think that was one of the best WWE matches of the year. I think that match was highly entertaining. I think all three of the men really showcased all the talent that they had. Breaker being the more athletically gifted one, really showcasing his speed. Kaiser showcasing that sort of like ruthless kind of like attitude and that aggression and that meticulous sort of like European style. And Sheamus just showing the absolute just the beast that he is in terms of just taking the big bumps and giving the big shots and all that kind of jazz. So I think that was really good. At number 4, we have Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson at Dynasty. I think that was just about as, listen, the rest of the list is stacked as well. So in terms of good quality wrestling, we got a lot of it, but that one was just crazy. 2 of the best to ever do it. One that's on the way out, the other one that's really on the way in. The past generation versus the current generation. I don't think there's anything better in terms of a passing of the torch itself. I think that was the match. At number 3, I definitely couldn't leave this match off the list. We have CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre for the Hell in a Cell. I think that was just a great match. It was the perfect culmination to a storyline. It was from the bumps that they took to the amount of violence. It actually brought back the Hell in a Cell match. None of the fake Hell in a Cell matches we used to get from the past. This was a true Hell in a Cell match. It was gory. It was violent. There was big bumps. There was blood. There was hatred. There was absolutely everything. Yeah, I think that match was absolutely fantastic. At number 2, which I had it at number 1, and then it went down to number 3. And then anyway, it moved around a little bit. We have Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson in London at Wembley, 55,000 people. Listen, those two guys are some of the best to do it right now. Brian Danielson, for this being his probable last year, he went all out, gave us just phenomenal matches, great storylines, and we'll talk about Swerve in a later list. Just a little foreshadowing for you guys. Yeah, I think go watch that match. If there was any match this year that you should go back to watch, or you want a match you're not sure about getting into AEW, that's the match you put on. You want to know what it's like to watch AEW, that's the match you put on. It'll give you everything that you need to know about it. And my number one match, it's not the most technical. It's not the most entertaining, but it did have a great story to it. Sting and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks,
bro,
is my match of the year.
Your list is
so.
Even thinking,
listen,
like,
that match was everything you wanted. Sting's last match, Darby Allin being the showstopper that he is, the Young Bucks being a common value. That bump that Darby Allin took, literally everyone the next day was talking about it. It was all over YouTube. And for that to be Sting's last match, I think it's a perfect way to end a great and brilliant career. And they did it right. They did it right. Everything in that match was absolutely flawless, absolutely perfect. And for that reason, and that's the match I keep going back to watch. So for that reason, that's my number one.
I am
nice
shocked.
list, bro. Yo, a lot
I'm
of your
shocked
list
too.
is
I'm shocked,
it's something like mine, bro. I ain't gonna front. A few of your picks is exactly like on my list, bro. We've been thinking alike, bro.
Trap, go.
Oh, you want me to go? My top five?
Yeah, because I want to
got some
see. I want to
honorable-
see your cousin look at your top five and make the same faces he did
yeah.
for
For,
Derek, because he's
Derek.
never happy with anything. Continue.
So I got honorable mention. Braun Breaker versus Braun Strowman. That's definitely an honorable mention that I had to put on this list. It didn't make the top five, but it was an honorable mention. Another honorable mention for me is Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay at AEW Dynasty. It didn't quite make my top five, but boy, that was a hell of a match between Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson. They know how to put on a show. Even with Bryan Danielson being all banged up, he was still able to move fluid and look good. So I thought that was good. So now going into my top five, number five, I got Io Sky versus Utami Hashishita on Marigold in July of this year and Marigold Dynasty. They went for 30 minutes back and forth. She always wanted the backstory was she always wanted to challenge Io Sky. So she finally went back to Japan. They fought a good match, and that's number five for me. Number four, we're going to go with Braun Breaker, Sheamus, Ludwig Kaiser. Triple threat. Again, what a phenomenal match. Like I said on the last episode, Sheamus might be the greatest triple threat wrestler, so that was a banger. So that's my number four. Number three, we got a random episode of Raw on September 16th, Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. That was just a random match between a one-on-one, especially with them being held in a tag team together. They put on a good display. It was so good that it was talked about so much on Twitter and the wrestling world. Even CM Punk mentioned it the next night on NXT. He applauded how good that match was. So it was just good to see how they put on a good show to display women's wrestling. So that's number three. Number two, Hell in a Cell, Bad Blood, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk. What can you say about that match? All the matches were good leading up to it, but this was a good final show for it. We had everything you needed, the blood, everything. So that was a good match. And number one, like Derek's, it was Sting and Darby Allin, the AE Revolution, because I'm a big Sting guy. So that being his last match, it was just emotional. They had the whole, video tribute about him to him. So I thought that was good. They talked about his career a little bit. He had his sons come out with him, one dressed as Surface Sting, one dressed as Black and Red Sting. They all came out together as a family. So I thought that was just beautiful moment right there, especially for me being the big Sting guy. Again, Darby took some crazy bumps like he always does. Sting being that old, still taking bumps like that. Yeah, man. So that's my number one too, man. That right there. That's my top five matches for 2024, man.
Great list. Thanks for putting the women matches. I
Of course.
will
And you see
greatly
how I got
appreciate you for that
everybody.
one.
You see how I got, but you see I got a little bit of everything. I got New Japan, I got AEW, I got WWE. Like I like wrestling, bro. I like wrestling. So that's what makes it hard though, because it's just so much.
Hmm.
Like if you would have said let's keep it just WWE, it probably would have been a little bit easier. But you just said wrestling, so it was like, oh, you gotta,
We're wrestling fans. We watch
yeah.
wrestling. And I love that there's so many different areas that you can get wrestling from, different styles.
But if I haven't seen that Marigold match with Io Sky, y'all should go watch that. That was good.
I'll put it on my list of things to watch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go next. We're gonna leave Cavallo in his probably the best 5 matches ever list. So Cavallo, you're last. I'm gonna go with my honorable mentions. I have two. Number one is gonna be MJF versus Daniel Garcia.
Okay.
Great match. Look, you'll see the rest of my list, but MJF could go up against anybody. He's basically to the point where I could say he's almost as close to Shawn Michaels in a wrestling ring and what he does and how we could tell a story.
Let's relax now.
Okay. MJF could do it all, man. He is phenomenal in a wrestling ring. Okay. You want to talk about 5 guys right now that could put on a wrestling match close to Shawn Michaels? MJF is in that list. Okay. And I'll challenge all of you to go watch every single MJF match and see what that guy could do in a wrestling ring.
I'm gonna call you Steve Meltzer. That's what I'm calling you now. You Steve Meltzer. You gotta relax.
The next one is, it's actually a bunch of matches all combined into one, is every single match that Sami Zayn lost and embarrassed himself.
I hate you.
Okay. Every single match that Sami Zayn lost and embarrassed himself. And one of the best moments of that was when Chad Gable suplexed Sami Zayn in Montreal in front of his wife and gave him the ankle lock and embarrassed him in his hometown. To me, that was phenomenal to see everybody in Montreal, all the suckers in Montreal who are fans of Sami Zayn, not say a word and be as embarrassed as he was and his family. Sami Zayn is a sucker and he doesn't deserve anything. Thank you, Chad Gable, for that phenomenal moment. And now let's get into my top 5. At number 5, I am going to go with Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door. Those guys gave a near perfect match. It was flawless. I'm looking at Cavallo's eyes. He probably never watched it because he doesn't watch anything but WWE.
Steve Meltzer shit.
But they both did a great job. And
it wasn't perfect. It was good.
No, it was near perfect, and not because of Will Ospreay, but what Swerve Strickland is able to do in a wrestling ring and how he's learned coming from NXT and where he is now in wrestling, and him being able to hold a title and be a main event guy and put on a match like that with somebody that was from New Japan. So yeah, that's number 5. Number 4 is going to be Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles at Backlash.
Whoa. I forgot about that. That was a good one, though. That was
a great match. That was a great match. Just with the crowd, the way they were able to play on with the crowd and the crowd chanting. Look, the crowd made the match bigger than it was, but they were able to play on with the crowd. They gave us some fucking amazing wrestling. Like, I remember after that match, I was like, this is a great wrestling match. This is what we want. I find that's when WWE kind of really shifted gears to where they really put more emphasis on what they're able and what they're capable to do inside a wrestling ring. That was the match. Okay. Number 3, I'm going to go with Drew versus Rollins at WrestleMania 40. opening match,
Not mad at that.
the story that they were able to tell, just what happened after the match. Seth Punk looked at Drew McIntyre after he won the title and he told him that he fucking deserved it, crying on the way out because he was injured and he knew he would miss some time. Drew being super ecstatic to losing it moments later to Damian Priest when he cashed in the Money in the Bank. And that really took that CM Punk feud into a different stratosphere. Numero 2 is going to be Cavallo. Please roll your eyes right now as I say the match is going to be Will Ospreay versus MJF Dynamite, the 59-minute match where MJF had to have the mask on so he could get some air. Malenko, please put that up on the screen for 5 seconds so everybody could see it and Cavallo can continue rolling his eyes once he rewatches the episode. Another phenomenal match, what those guys could do. And MJF could go up against anybody. I said it already. It is what it is. And number one is going to be Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk in a Hell in a Cell. Guys, a lot of people say CM Punk was washed.
I know he beat the washed allegations.
Okay, he beat the washed allegations before that with the strap match.
Yeah,
you guys, what those two guys were able to accomplish over and over and over again, man. We love storytelling. We love blood. We love all. Dude, they like talk about CM Punk, who's in his late 40s. Drew McIntyre is what, in his early 40s? Like,
I think so.
These guys gave us fucking what we love. Like what we loved all combined in one. Like we can't complain about what they gave us. It's what we grew up watching. It's what we wanted from wrestling. It's what those years of wrestling never gave us. They just brought it back to us. That's my number one. Cavallo, the floor is yours. Go for it. I'm excited. I've never been more excited for a top list than this one.
I'm saying I was not making faces. I'm listening to y'all. I'm not making any faces. I'm just looking like this.
You was rolling your eyes, making faces.
Trop, give your cousin some like some flack. He's gonna do. Look at this list. I can already see it. 5-star matches after 5-star matches.
You're damn right. So my number one.
Wait, what are you doing? Number one? It's 5-1. You haven't
5-1. I'm sorry. Okay, so my number 5. I did actually watch this match. It's an AEW match. Swerve versus Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson. I'm sorry. At all, I really like that match. That's my number 5. My number 4 is the triple threat match with Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser. That was really good. I'm really a big fan of Braun Breaker, so I feel like anything he's in is good. My number 3, which I was surprised that I agree with Steven about, which I feel like Derek and Trap forgot about, was the Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles at what was that? Was that Backlash?
Backlash in France.
Yeah, in France. The crowd made it more. The crowd made it more interesting. Like I feel like when the crowd is into a match, it makes you like be at the edge of your seat. Like that was such a great match. My number 2 is CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre at Bad Blood. Just because I love CM Punk. I feel like the storyline they had for the whole year was I feel like the top storyline. Even if they wasn't fighting that much, it was a really good match. And then my number 1, which I feel like should be everybody's number 1, is a match that had so much emotions in it. Is Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, night 2. Like
boring match, horrendous match.
What are you talking about?
I did not enjoy it at all.
How did you not enjoy that match?
Because why do I need Cena to come in? Why do I need The Undertaker to come in? Why do I need?
And he wasn't even in costume.
Like,
so you're trying to don't act like you wasn't hyped. Just like me and women came out. Wherever it came out, you was in the DM like, oh my god, you see that? Oh my god,
yeah,
I see into it.
I'm into it, but the match.
Thank you. So why you acting like it wasn't a good match? Like the storytelling wasn't great.
Everything up until everybody started coming out to help Cody Rhodes. Like it just wasn't like interesting. Like
when Solo was out there and John Cena was beefing with Solo, so it made sense. When Jimmy was out there, Jay came out because they had beef. It made sense.
I know, but
I don't need
Seth Rollins coming out. Seth Rollins coming out in that Shield and the Shield costume. made sense with him beefing with
Still wasn't.
Roman Reigns. Everybody who was beefing with the Bloodline came out to help. It made sense. It was
Cody
a
couldn't.
combination. It was a finale. Like
Cody
Still
couldn't hold
wasn't
his
bigger than
own.
Sting last match. Still
no
wasn't
one
bigger
could
than
hold their
Sting
own
last
against the
match.
Bloodline. Who held their own against the Bloodline for
And-
the whole year and a half they broke?
And I thought Cody Rhodes was gonna take them all out and win.
Why would you think that he didn't do it the year before? Why you thought he's gonna do it this year?
Well, he wants to finish his story. He should have finished it
Yeah,
on his own.
no.
He didn't need the Undertaker to choke slam the Rock and get him out of there. I
He
just
did
find
because the Rock was whipping him. What are you talking about? He did need the Rock.
I just found it didn't make sense to me.
For a
I
storyline,
didn't need that.
It didn't make
But
my list.
for the whole storyline, I feel like that was the biggest thing of the year. Like that made made
Nah.
night two. Night two wasn't even all that. I feel like.
Sting retirement match was the best thing.
Oh, what's not?
I'm sorry, it was.
Sting and his sons. That was not bigger than no damn Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 at all. It was
Okay.
not more talked about. It was not bigger. That's my opinion, and that's my list.
Okay.
I didn't have any
Okay,
honorable
that's
mentions,
fine.
but
Good list.
Yeah.
I'm
No, that's a
I'm
good
impressed with your list, Cavallo.
Well, I
I
didn't
did.
forget about it. It just didn't fit.
Boys, the main event of the evening, we are going to give our top 10 wrestlers of 2024. This is let me repeat, this is our top 10 wrestlers of 2024. Nobody else's, no list,
Nobody else's.
no sports this, no illustrated that. It's our list and who we thought were the top 10 wrestlers of 2024. Derek, let's start off with you.
All right, y'all. So I do have some honorable mentions before we get to the list. I'm just gonna go through them really, really quick. We have Oba Femi from NXT. I think
That's
Oba
a
Femi.
wrestler.
I gotta
That's a
interrupt.
wrestler.
I gotta interrupt.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, probably because I'm not on tonight. The top 10 wrestlers of the year could include on the mic, in-ring performance, impact. It's not just.
so it's not wrestler. Then it's not a wrestler.
Well, yeah, it's
character?
a wrestler. It's everything. It's all combined in one. Just
Okay.
because he's not good in the ring doesn't mean you can't like him because he's good on the mic. You know what I mean? It's your top 10. It's everything that they have to offer as a wrestler. Derek, I am sorry for interrupting you. Please continue.
No problem. So, like I said, honorable mention. I do have Oba Femi on there. I think he's probably one of the brightest
That's a
stars in
wrestler.
NXT, and he's going to be a problem for years to come whenever he makes it up to the main roster. Everything about him, he just has that aura around him. I think he's destined for great things. Jacob Fatu is also an honorable mention. We haven't seen the reason why he's an honorable mention is just because the energy, the aura around him, even though he hasn't wrestled too much, he still makes an impact anytime he's involved in anything. Just his mere presence is enough to get people to watch. People are curious to see where things are going to go for him. Liv Morgan, she's had a great year. She didn't make the top 10, but Liv Morgan had a really, really good year. She's become a much better wrestler than she used to be. She's great on the mic. She pops on the screen. And we have Braun Breaker, also an honorable mention. I think Braun Breaker is destined for great things. I think he's a future world champion. Next year, he's probably going to be on the top 10 for sure. But yeah, as of this year, right now, with what he's done, he didn't make it, but he will next year. That's for sure. So now getting into the list, and I'm going to get it out of the way right away because I feel like Trap is reading my mind from New York. Number 10, Sami Zayn. I think Sami Zayn had another great year. I think his match with Gunther at WrestleMania solidified that. I think the performance of the ring is there. I think on the mic, he's always good. Whenever they need someone to help push a storyline in any direction, who do they call? They call Sami Zayn. He's a great worker. He's durable. I know Steven doesn't like him, but I think Sami Zayn had another really, really good year. Number 9, I'm sorry. We have Hangman Page. I think Hangman Page, once again, listen, I know he doesn't do as much. I know the belts, and I know he doesn't win too much, but just the feuds that this guy can have, the matches that he has in those feuds. I don't think there's probably maybe what 5 pro wrestlers that are really good at telling a story in the ring. And I think Hangman Page is one of those superstars. Fantastic. Any match he puts on, it's a must watch all the time. That brings me to number 8. We have Bryan Danielson at number 8. Listen, the guy is just phenomenal, generational talent. From his career in WWE to the career he's had in AEW, for a guy that was retired, not retired, injured, not injured, came back. And you couldn't help but watch all of his matches and see what he puts his body through. And he was involved in everything. And there's a lot of things circulating that Tony Khan would tell him, hey, you have to win that match. And he's like, no, I have to lose that match. And then he would, he could go out on a shield and win absolutely everything, but he loses when he must. He knows what pro wrestling is like. And I think for that, I think he gave a lot this year. At number 7, even though he's not my favorite, he has pretty much had an undeniable year in terms of everything he's accomplished. Cody Rhodes. He is the Universal Champion. His promos are good. The matches he's in are good. Do I feel like his character is getting a little stale? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've said this before, but that doesn't overshadow the work that he puts in, the fact that he's a fighting champion, the fact that he's on the pay-per-views, he's having the matches, the match with AJ Styles, we mentioned it, just the feud with Kevin Owens. It's another fantastic feud that he's having. And I think once again, he's going to probably main event WrestleMania again this year. And that's fine. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. He put in the work, and yeah, it's what is a good year for him. At number 6, a little bit of a surprise pick for y'all. I put Jey Uso at number 6. I think Jey Uso is so over right now with the fans, the pop that he gets. I think he's really good on the mic. I think he has that aura, that gravitas, that charisma. And I do have to say, I do feel like he's gotten better in the ring. I do feel like the most recent Jey Uso matches we've had, he's gotten significantly better. I think it's been really, really good and really interesting to watch him do his thing. And I think he's over right now. And I think during that whole sort of new bloodline kind of feud, I do feel like he was carrying most of that feud, to be perfectly honest with you. So yeah, for that reason, Jey Uso is number 6. At number 5, we have Gunther. Listen, Gunther had a good year. He's your world heavyweight champion. His promos keep getting better and better. He's a menace. I think he's really good on the mic. I think he's funny as hell, even though he probably doesn't try to be funny.
That's what I said.
I think he comes off
to be cooking on the mic. Steve would be like, he's boring. I'll be like, what? Got to be cooking on the mic. I don't know what Steven be talking about, man.
No, I think the Trash point. I think he's good on the mic. I think he's funny. And also we do have to acknowledge that this whole him having a little lack of confidence sort of storyline that was going on, I think he played that to absolute perfection. That was acting brilliance. It had you thinking, did he really, is he losing that confidence? Is he losing that edge? Because it started a little bit before Michael Cole mentioned it. And I think that was absolutely brilliant. Number 4, we have Rhea Ripley. Listen, I don't know what more to say about Rhea Ripley than I haven't said before.
More to say.
There's not more to say.
She's the Eradicator.
She's one of the best. Yeah.
You see on Saturday Night Live, she just came out. What did she come out for? And you heard the pop she got? He learned, you know what it is? Rhea Ripley, Triple H's, Rhea Ripley is what Stone Cold is to Vince McMahon. That's the spam button. When you want to get a pop, I'm going to just send her out. Just like he do with Stone Cold. When Vince do with Stone Cold. I need a pop, let me send Stone Cold out. Just let him do something. She didn't do anything. She just came out the steroid for Liv Morgan and she got a huge pop.
Yeah.
And then carry Io Sky in the back. That was it.
Yeah. Like Trap said, I think Rhea Ripley she gets amazing. A crazy pop. Yeah. I think her feud with Liv Morgan is fucking brilliant. Yeah.
I think it was brilliant too.
Yeah, I think everything Rhea Ripley right now touches is absolute gold. So I don't see that
Yeah,
going
she's a
away
gold
anytime soon.
mine, and she's a good wrestler. Like
Yeah,
people, I think because they haven't seen her wrestle in the ring in so long, but she's a good wrestler. She
absolutely.
knows how to work. She could sell her ass off. Like
Absolutely. I think
there's
that women's
nothing.
division is
Yeah.
really, really stacked right now. So
Mhm.
that's why those titles I think are gonna have a big impact.
Yeah.
At number 3, and my top WWE wrestler of the year, Drew McIntyre.
Mm.
So what haven't I
Yeah, I'm
said
not
about
mad
Drew
at it.
McIntyre
Hmm.
on this podcast? He's had the most significant feud. He's had the best match. He keeps getting involved every time he's there. You're waiting to see what's going to happen next. He was off for a little bit, and people are like, when is Drew coming back? When is Drew coming back? We spoke about it last on the podcast of like, when is he coming back? What we want to see from him. Listen, the guy on the mic is a menace. The guy in the ring is an absolute monster. He Everything he touches turns to gold, from him being a psychopath to him being just hunting down the members of the bloodline to him just not giving a shit. Like, Drew McIntyre is absolute gold, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do for him on Netflix. Just, yeah, absolute top WWE wrestler of the year for me. At number 2, we have Will Ospreay. People like to say that Will Ospreay is the flippy guy and all he does is flips. And don't get me wrong, yeah, absolutely, he likes to do his flips. But God damn it, you can't deny that the talent that this guy has is absolutely ridiculous. He's young, he's charismatic in the ring. I don't think there's anyone better than him in the ring from a technical perspective. He's getting significantly better in terms of the promo work. Any match he puts on is very close to being a 5-star match. Yeah, Will Ospreay number 2.
Derek Meltzer. See, now I'm about to you, Derek Meltzer. Y'all just be giving out 5 stars now.
And number 1, and I'm curious to see where you guys are going to go with this. But I will argue with anyone that this wrestler absolutely deserves to be number 1. And I think that's Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland has had a year like unlike it's in recent memory. He's had one of the best pro wrestler year that's ever been in the business of professional wrestling. This guy is money. Every match is stellar. All his feuds are absolutely crazy. And to a certain extent, as much as I love that he's in AEW because he could cook there and he could do whatever he wants, the WWE fan in me wants to know what Swerve Strickland in WWE would be like. And I think that would probably be a dream come true for me, to be perfectly honest. I don't think there's anyone better in terms of putting a story over, putting a feud over, everything. He absolutely has not missed this year. And for that reason, Swerve Strickland, number 1 on my top 10 of the year.
Love that list.
That's a good top 10, Derek.
Love that list.
Top 10. Great top 10, man.
All right, who's next?
Cavallo.
Who's next?
Ooh,
I want to hear Cavallo's.
Cavallo. Ooh.
So I have on my list. So am I doing 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
10 to 1. It's always.
Come on.
Okay. All right.
And you bust his chops that he's the stoner that smokes weed. Fuck, are you stoned?
Maybe. At number 10, I have Jacob Fatu. And I have him at number 10 just because, he's still kind of brand new and he hasn't had much matches, but I feel like the matches he is in, he dominates. And his moves, like he wows the crowd every single time. So I can't wait to see what, they have going on for him. My number 9 is Damian Priest. I feel like once he started to, I feel like I see the superstar in him that he could have been in NXT. Like I like how they positioned him in Judgment Day and how he left the Judgment Day and how when he comes out, his pop that he gets. Like I'm kind of over him feuding with the Judgment Day, but I think that his matches were all good. I feel like he has it with the crowd. he got over by himself. He did a quick turn. He went from heel to babyface on his own. It wasn't forced. And yeah, I feel like whenever he has a match, it's not boring. He doesn't botch that much to me. So he's my number 9. My number 8 is Braun Breaker. I feel like Braun Breaker had a great year. He won a title. He's Every match he's been in has been great. I love even the way he be running around the ring and scaring people and just be having the crowd doing the dog sound for him. Like his rise has been really quick in 1 year. I think he came in. Did he come in right after WrestleMania? He came in way after WrestleMania, and he's already like a top dog. Like, so he's my number. What I say? Is that something?
You know more than me.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so my next person is CM Punk. I have CM Punk in. You already know how I feel about CM Punk. On the mic, he's good. Because you said it's not only about the matches, about the mic and the promos and everything. The crowd is always behind him, of course. Everybody loves CM Punk. His promos, I feel like he brings the best out of people who hate him. Like Drew McIntyre, I feel like Drew McIntyre hated him so much that it brought the best out of Drew McIntyre. His promo skills, I feel like it's gonna be great with him and Seth Rollins because they hate him so much. I feel like he brings the best out of people in their promos. Like I feel like people have to be on their A game when it comes to a mic off or a promo off with CM Punk. So I'm gonna add him that high up because of his promos and a little bit of his matches because he was in one of his matches was in my top 5.
I just want to make sure. Number 10, we have Jacob Fatu. Number 9, we had Damian Priest.
Mm-hmm. Then Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
And then now CM Punk.
So now is number 6.
Yeah. Yeah. So my number 6 is Cody Rhodes. He's that low on my list because I feel like he's getting really stale. I mean, even though they have him as the champion and he's the people's champion, I guess he's like the new generation's John Cena, if you want to put it. His matches isn't bad. His matches entertaining. It's kind of predictable. Like I know he's gonna win. But I feel like they put him in great storylines because he's a champion. So I feel like that makes it entertaining. Sometimes he does a lot with the voices that I don't really like in his promos, but he's a good talker. I like his moveset. I like what they're doing right now with him and Kevin Owens. I didn't think that they can do any more than they did with Kevin Owens. I think they fought 2 months ago, so I didn't know how long they can prolong it. But I'm liking where it's going. So I can't wait to see what's gonna happen next year with him. Number 5, I have Gunther. Gunther is I feel like everybody in the chat has Gunther on their list. Gunther is an amazing wrestler, and I use that wrestler word very, I don't use that word lightly with a lot of people because I don't consider the flips and tricks wrestlers. But Gunther, I feel like his matches are just he's a great wrestler. He's a great seller. Even though he's a big guy, he doesn't make the smaller guys that he wrestles look so like tiny and unbelievable to make him fall and stuff. His promos have improved, just like I compare him to Damian Priest. I feel like they both just did big improvement this year. So that's why he's number 5 on my list. Next on my list is Swerve Strickland.
You watch?
Yes.
You watch?
Why you act like I don't watch? Like I don't watch. I see things. I watch highlights. I can go back and see. I might not watch it live, but I go back and I see what's going on. So
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland, great wrestler. I liked him when he was in WWE, NXT, but I feel like he's really getting like they put the rocket on his back in AEW. Like I really love what they're doing. Like I feel like that's one of the few good things that AEW have going on is Swerve Strickland right now. Like just for wrestling skills, like as a whole. Like so that's that. Next I have Will Ospreay. I was gonna have him above Swerve Strickland, but I feel like Will Ospreay matches are more entertaining. Like even though I agree with Derek. Like even though he is flippy and tricky, I feel like he just sells and he has like that wow factor. Like he's someone I can watch his match and be entertained. Like I know I'm gonna be entertained. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a 5-star match every time, but it's gonna be a good star match to where I know I'm gonna be like, okay,
Cavallo Meltzer.
Oh God, I said it's not a
Full is
5-star match.
all right.
I,
I'm about
I
to say,
said I said
please,
not I
go
said
for
not
it.
like Derek. I said it's not a
Okay.
5-star match, but
All right. Just want to
it's
make sure.
4-3. It's up there. So
Because Dave Meltzer give every AEW match a 5 and better. I'd be like, oh shit, this guy. He must be on their payroll.
yeah. And then last but not least, I have Roman Reigns. I have Roman Reigns as my number one. I feel like he's like I don't feel like I have
He
to
just
say much.
came back.
I know that, but this is for the whole year. I feel like he was on a roll from January to WrestleMania, and then he came back. He's still, even when he's not there for weeks at a time, because it's not like he's there every show, they still chant OTC louder than anybody else there. I feel like because of him, there's others that get a chance. Like I feel like he's like the glue that makes everything on SmackDown.
Right.
I would say happen. Like without him,
yeah.
huh?
He's the well-oiled machine that keeps it going.
Yeah. Like because of him, we get like the new bloodline, so we get to see Solo be this funny new character that I didn't expect him to be because last year he wasn't speaking. We get to see Jacob Fatu be this crazy guy. We get to see Tama Tonga. I'm not going to name the other guy. We get to see
Tonga Loa.
We get to see The Rock come back and this whole family feud. Like I just think that his presence is just like on a different level than everybody else. Like I feel like no one presence wise when he come out, everybody, even bad or good, when he comes out, everybody stands up. I feel like everyone listens when he speaks, even though he has the wise man. When he puts his hand out, and he get that microphone, people listen, and I feel like that's a big thing. So I feel like he just has to be number one with all the criteria, wrestling and the talking and the presence and everything.
Great list.
Okay, nice list.
I'm actually shocked at about 4 people on that list, but you know what? It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. 4 people you shocked about?
There's been a lot of shockers tonight. Me and Derek's list almost been the same.
Cavallo with the shocking. I had no idea he was an AEW fan and like flips and tricks.
I never said I'm an AEW fan. The F word is getting used too loosely. I never said that.
Okay, you gotta stop. You gotta stop it somewhere. Draw the line somewhere.
Exactly.
He's not
a fan is crazy. But are they entertaining? Do they have entertaining wrestlers over there? Yeah. Now, to Derek's point, I don't know if I would like for Swerve Strickland to come to WWE. I don't know if I would get the same character or the same freedom that he has over there.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like some people are best where they're at. I don't think everyone needs to come to WWE to get bigger. I feel like where Swerve is at, I feel like he's good. Where Hangman Page is at, I feel like he's good. It's some wrestlers that I don't think would mold into the WWE lifestyle and look. So, yeah.
Okay, nice.
Trapzilla, you're next.
I got 2 honorable mentions, 3. I got Braun Breaker as an honorable mention, Jacob Fatu as another honorable mention, because even though he just arrived on the scene in like June, but he definitely put on a big impact.
Wait, Trap. But real quick, you and Derek have Braun Breaker in your honorable mentions, but that have him in the top 5 matches of the year. How is that possible?
Yes.
How is that possible? And he's a 2-time champion, and he's in
because
the top match of the year.
Because the match was good. Because the match was good because of who else was involved in it.
Also, not him.
It was a triple threat. No, he was good in it too, but that's just the match, though. He could still have a good match and not be a good, like one of my top 10 wrestlers of the year. That was just one of his best matches.
Absolutely, and we do like Steven mentioned. It's everything. So Braun Breaker has the it factor. In the ring, he's good.
He'll probably be there next year.
In the ring, he's really good. But in the ring, a lot of his matches are the same matches over and over again. I'd like to see him struggle. I'd like to see something a little different. And I do think on the mic, he's good and he brings a touch of realism. But I do feel like he needs to step up that part of his character. I feel like when I watch Braun Breaker, I'm watching the guy Braun Breaker, and I'm not really watching the character he's portraying. I'm not seeing him on the mic as like that dog, like that guy who just wants to run through everyone. He seems very mellow, very composed, and like just like intense.
He's learning.
He is learning, but he needs to level up that promo game. And that's why I said next year, sky's the limit for that guy. So it's gonna be interesting.
Put him with Paul.
So yeah, that's my
honorable mention. You don't need to.
Braun Breaker, Jacob Fatu. Willow Nightingale is another honorable mention. She's a phenomenal wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
She has some good matches, and Trick Williams from NXT. He has a lot of work to do. Like he needs to tighten up the sloppiness in his work because right now it's giving very Jay Uso. So he just needs to tighten up a little bit. But he has everything else. Like the crowd is behind him. He has the song "Whoop That Trick." He's been an NXT champion for this year, so that's an honorable mention. And
Royal
those
Rumble's
are
gonna be
my
crazy when you hear that song.
and yep, that's what I'm saying. So those are my honorable mentions. Number 10, now to my list. Now to my list. This is my list for top 10 wrestlers. Number 10, I got Liv Morgan, guys. Listen, the year Liv Morgan has been having has been a really good year for Liv Morgan, man. She's been holding the women's world championship down very well. Her character is very well. Her and Dirty Dom, that works very well. That little heel sneaky character she got, like it just works for her. Her feud with Rhea Ripley's good. Um, the match she did with Io Sky on Saturday Night Main Event was good. She won clean. I thought that was an amazing match. That shows she could work with another person outside of Rhea Ripley because I know people were getting tired of the feud. But yeah, no complaints from me. I think she's really been one of the most improved for this year. So she's number 10. Number 9, I got LA Knight, the United States champion. Has some good feuds, has some good matches. Even though he just recently lost, which I understand why. But again, we needed to see what it was like for him to have a championship and to hold a championship. And he showed that if he's booked right and done it correct, he can be a champion. So that's good. And so that goes to show, like, if they need to put him onto the next main stage, he can hold his own to be a champion. So I thought that was great. And again, another good year for LA Knight. Number 8, I got Bryan Danielson. Again, the year he's been having, especially being hurt with the neck injuries, still being able to go out every match, put his life on the line, deliver you great quality matches. You just can't say enough about Bryan Danielson. Delivers every match. So you have to, I applaud his integrity, everything, because to go out there and put your hurt and just go out there and still deliver and not show it in the ring that you're aching, just brilliant. So love Bryan Danielson.
I got respect for Bryan Danielson, unlike
Yeah.
the other guy I don't like.
Number 7, I got Cody Rhodes. He is the WWE Disputed Champion after all. Got him number 7, like I said. So a lot of people have been saying, his reign has been kind of but he's had some good matches here and there. He's still Cody Rhodes. He still delivers some good matches. So he's my number 7. Number 6, I got Swerve Strickland, boys. What can you say about Swerve Strickland? AEW champion, flourish, has some great quality matches. It's just Swerve Strickland. Like, we already know what we expect from Swerve Strickland. What we're gonna get. We're gonna get the high, good, and quality tense matches. And I like that they had him as champion. Him and Samoa Joe was good for the championship earlier this year. That was a good match. I almost forgot about that. But
When he
overall,
won the title,
when he won, when he won the title, that's what I
it was
mean.
a shock
Yeah,
factor for me.
right. So that was good. So that's number 6. Number 5, I got Bianca Belair. Again, most wins in WWE. She rejuvenized the tag team titles, her and Jade. She's been a workhorse. She's been on Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Again, just bringing more light to the tag team titles. She had a few single matches here and there that were phenomenal. So she cracked the top 5 for me. Number 4, Gunther, the ring general, the world heavyweight champion. Gunther again shows why he can be a champion and why he held the Intercontinental Champion for all those days. So that shows him holding his title and being, how can I say this? Not more dominant than he has been, but just being more. How can I say? He's more seasoned with the world heavyweight champion. Like, his promos got more sharper and better. His matches have become more better. So I applaud Gunther for that. So he's number 4. Number 3, I got Io Sky. Of course, you already know the genius of the Sky, the queen of war games, 6 war game matches. Originally was a singles, but then Dakota Kai got injured, so then she had to become a tag team with Kyrie. So she's filling in for being a tag team, being a singles division. Won the female battle Royal Rumble to get the number one contendership. Had a number one contendership match. She lost eventually, but that happens. I knew that was going to happen. Went to Marigold during the summer. Had another great match in New Japan over there. So she's number 3 on my list. Number 2, Will Ospreay. Again, another phenomenal wrestler. Like Steven said, one of the most talented, gifted wrestlers in recent memory.
That was Derek who said it.
Well, Derek, I'm sorry. I got you guys mixed up. Let me stop. But yeah, no. Will Ospreay, number 2. And number 1, I got Drew McIntyre. He's my number 1 wrestler for 2024, man. Just from the beginning all the way to now, just the feuds, just the way he put the company on his back with that feud, him having the title for a minute, then losing it, coming back, having good matches, and then just, yeah, man, that feud with him and CM Punk, that's why that match was up in my top 5. And there you have it, folks. Those are my top 10 wrestlers of 2024, man.
Great
Why are you
list.
making that face, Cavallo? Why are you always making faces? What was on my list? What you about to say? Say something. You want to say something? Say it. Because you making faces.
This
What
episode,
happened? 'Cause I got-
this
What you
episode,
gonna say?
I agree with everybody's list. I
No,
have
no,
nothing
don't
to say.
agree. No,
That episode, I have nothing to say.
No, I
I
want to
have
hear what you gotta
nothing
say
to
because you making
say.
faces. What happened? You ain't like Drew McIntyre number 1?
Not
Is
at
that
all.
not
But
good?
that's
What
your
happened?
truth. That's
You
your
didn't
truth.
like EO? You didn't like EO Sky number 3? What
Io
happened?
Sky
You didn't like that?
could be for women's. I feel like she could be number 3. The matches.
You didn't like Bianca Belair number 5? What was it? I don't understand. Because
I
you
didn't
been
like the
making
number 1,
faces.
but that's it. The number 1 was
You
crazy.
didn't like
But
Drew McIntyre was crazy?
number
For
1?
2024? Yeah.
Number 1? What did he do for 2024? Besides
Well, he
lose
did a
title in 5
lot
minutes?
of stuff
He
in
did a lot of stuff for
2024.
2024.
Tell
What are you
me.
talking
He
about?
went
What did
from
he do?
he went from here
What did he
to
do?
skyrocket.
What did he do?
All right, it started from with the Rumble. When they teased all the way to feud. Remember, they kept teasing the feud. Then it went to Mania.
They
He
teased
had the
what for the Royal
title for
Rumble?
5 minutes. What you call it? Him and CM Punk.
Okay.
I think what Trap is trying to say, and the reason why he was number 1 is because they had Drew McIntyre as a mid-card type of guy for many years. Okay. Drew McIntyre was able to take
This is his
that
ascension this year.
and put himself to a main
In
event
position.
guy, whether
Right.
it's on the mic, whether it's in the
Mhm.
wrestling ring, whether it's to tell stories.
Even
Drew
outside,
McIntyre,
even outside the ring, the social media, like the
Mhm.
Drew McIntyre, the promos that he's able to
The
do
heel,
for
yeah.
himself and the business outside of the ring.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Him
You
and
said
Kevin
that he
Owens are
had
up there.
you said that he had the company on his back this year. That
absolutely.
is diabolical. The company
did,
on his
though.
back.
For Raw,
The
absolutely.
company on his back.
Absolutely. For Raw,
What did he do on Raw besides
He
talk
was-
about CM Punk and his
why were-
in the bracelet?
why were
What-
you
what was
why were
done?
you why were you turning on the channel to watch Monday Night Raw? Why? Tell me reasons
To see-
why you were turning on the
and
channel
Drew,
to watch Monday
exactly.
Night. It was for CM Punk and Drew McIntyre back and forth feud, to see what Drew was gonna do, to see what CM Punk was gonna do. They had one of the best
That
wrestling
bracelet
matches of the
was-
year.
Yeah, they both
It's
had
like
a
2
great
of them.
feud. One of them didn't hold the company down. They both had a great feud.
All right.
Why would he be number 1 out of everybody he named who did way more this year? Drew McIntyre held the company up. I can think this is 2020 or 2021. He actually had the title and held down the
COVID?
pandemic era. Yeah,
that's
when he
COVID,
had
though.
that's when he had the company on his back. Not
But that's
2024.
Derek,
That's
okay,
2024.
I want to hear Derek speak.
That's
No.
COVID, though.
Gunther,
Drew
you
McIntyre.
said Drew McIntyre. held
Yeah,
Kaval,
he's my
I
number
want
1.
Derek to speak. I want Derek to
Drew
speak.
McIntyre is my number 1. What happened?
The
Derek.
the best match of WrestleMania was Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
Drew McIntyre wins. If you wanted
Right.
Priest to cash in and be believable as champion, you could only do it against one guy, and that was Drew McIntyre, because everyone knew that CM Punk had been hurt prior to it, and it wouldn't have been believable. Drew McIntyre gets interfered with by CM Punk, starts his feud with CM Punk.
Right.
By far the best promo work, the best work he's done in the business.
Mhm.
By far that steel cage match with Punk is by far his best match he's ever had in his career.
The strap match.
After that, he
leading up to
leaves.
that.
Everyone thinks that Drew McIntyre is going to steamroll all over Punk, only to have Punk win. That tells the story of how good Drew McIntyre is in the ring in terms of putting people over.
Loses
And
at
then
home.
Loses at home. Not once, not just this year. He lost the year before as well to Roman Reigns for that championship. Maintains that storyline, still has hatred for everyone that's double crossed him. He
Then
leaves
his
for a
Twitter-
while, leaves for a
Twitter
while,
promo
and
over
comes
heel.
back. Everyone is excited to see what he's going to do next. And he just starts steamrolling through the bloodline. Now, not only does he have that's the biggest promo, the biggest storyline of the year so far, but now he's setting himself up to
For the next
completely eliminate the new bloodline. So what do you think happens now if Roman Reigns gets that Olaf Hala? What do you think's his next storyline? It's Drew McIntyre eliminating everyone from the bloodline. There's layers to the story, and Drew McIntyre is at every single layer, and he's always the final thing. It's always Drew McIntyre, and it's going to be Drew McIntyre straight through 2025 as well.
Yeah, I don't understand how
Number one.
Yes,
Absolutely,
number
I
one.
agree.
You said Drew
Yeah.
McIntyre versus
Who's
Seth
your number
Rollins
one
was
again?
the best match of
Who's your
WrestleMania
number one?
over
Who's your number
Gunther and
one?
Sami Zayn. Are you
Yeah.
crazy?
Who's your
Absolutely.
Are
number
you
one?
crazy?
Absolutely.
Who's your number one, Cavallo?
Roman Reigns.
Oh, the
Top
guy
tier.
that was
Oh yeah, the top tier. Yeah, the guy that
the guy that wasn't
Drew
even
McIntyre
barely
is
there.
upset with.
the
The guy
wasn't
that
even
Drew
barely
McIntyre
there.
needs.
Cut it out.
Yeah, the guy that Drew McIntyre
One
needs.
of those.
Yeah, you're crazy.
You don't
You're
need
crazy.
Roman
Number
Reigns.
one, numero
Yeah,
uno.
Drew McIntyre. Yeah, he had a better year. His
Coke.
year was good from the beginning.
Coke. It's Coke. It has to be.
It's not
It ha-
Coke. Between the
it's Coke.
matches, the promos, everything leading up, then the 3 matches with Punk. What are you talking about? That was a flawless year this year he had. And
No,
the
we're
way
gonna
they
have to
dragged the storyline. What are you talking about?
We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see. Steven still has to do his list.
Yeah.
We're gonna see
I'm
where Steven
scared.
puts Drew
I'm
McIntyre.
I'm
This
scared.
guy said Roman
I'm-
Reigns. That
Steven
was the
better
easy
not.
pick. That's the
Steven better
easy
not
pick.
have Drew McIntyre
Derek,
anywhere near the
Derek,
top 3.
Derek,
I
that's
will
a
press
that's
this
a-
red
that's a-
button, and I will not ever in my life speak to any of you
cut
men
it
in my
out.
life if Steven has Drew McIntyre anywhere near the
Derek, he
top
picked the
3.
safe pick, Roman Reigns. Get out of here.
Safe?
That's
It wasn't safe.
Nobody
Everybody's
got
life
Roman
revolves.
Reigns. Nobody got Roman
Everybody's
Reigns
life
on their list.
revolves around Roman Reigns.
Nobody got Roman Reigns on their list but
Everybody
you.
you
Exactly.
Can I do
Everybody
my
you
list?
name,
That's what I'm
Li-
saying.
everybody-
Nobody got
no,
Roman
Steven,
Reigns.
Everybody you named, life revolves around Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the common
Oh.
denominator. He should be number 1. What the fuck did Drew McIntyre do?
He did
Besides,
a
go
lot.
back and forth
I
with
just
CM Punk.
told you what we
That's
just
it.
told you what we did.
He went back
this
and forth with
year.
CM Punk. Okay, that was a great feud. That doesn't make him number 1. That's
Let's-
the case. CM Punk should be number 1 too.
Let's get to my list, and then we could argue at the end of my list, because Cavallo, we're gonna definitely argue, and I cannot wait for this one.
This guy's
Oh
bugging.
my god, he would have my blood pressure high.
My top 10 wrestlers of 2024. I'm gonna give you some honorable mentions. I'm gonna go with Andrade as an honorable mention. Dude, you guys, what that guy can do in the ring,
Yeah.
as a professional wrestler. Forget what he could do on
Oh,
the
look,
mic.
Cavallo's
Forget what he could
smiling
do
now.
anywhere else. Andrade is a wrestler's wrestler.
Woo. Mhm.
My next honorable mention is going to be Dominic Mysterio.
Oh, okay.
Dominic Mysterio has to get all the most respect in the whole entire universe for what he's did last year, the year before, and what he's doing this year as a heel and one of the biggest heels. Okay. He
Yeah.
just stands his own. He just plays his part, and he's just gonna wait and wait till his time is next, and he's gonna end up getting what he deserves, whether it's
Yeah,
the
I
IC
can see it.
champion, whether it's the world heavyweight champion. That big factor, that wow factor, is gonna happen for Dominic Mysterio in 2025.
Definitely.
Then I'm gonna go with Christian Cage, Christian Cage.
I don't like that.
one of the biggest heels in wrestling, what he's able to do and how his career skyrocketed in AEW. And I know Cavallo is a big hater of Canadian wrestlers. So Christian Cage. And the
I
last
like how you fit that narrative.
that last That last honorable mention is going to be Daniel Garcia. I love watching Daniel Garcia. I love seeing him. What exactly? He
I like when Mina Shirakawa does the dance.
I love how the dude is looked at as just that mediocre guy that never wins matches, but he's able to hold his own like Dominic Mysterio, but he's really, really good in the ring. And I'm so happy that he has a title. I'm so happy they gave him the TNT title. So my top 10.
Yeah.
Number 10. Number 10, I'm starting off with Solo Sikoa. And the reason why I'm going with Solo Sikoa is because of what Solo Sikoa was able to accomplish from WrestleMania and on, being the guy to take over Roman Reigns and having so much hatred towards him and going out there after every SmackDown, after every Raw, after every PLE, and holding that spot that Roman Reigns had, being that heel, fighting, going up against matches against Cody Rhodes, going up against matches against LA Knight, doing those tag team matches, rebuilding the bloodline. He was the guy. He's the heel. He's that guy he's the face, okay, right next to Cody Rhodes on SmackDown. It's Solo Sikoa. And look at him now. Like, the dude was the fourth, if not the fifth member of the original bloodline. He was just that guy. He was the enforcer. He was just there. Nobody really cared about Solo Sikoa. He was just another Umaga. Think of it. He was looked at just like another Umaga. Look at what he's able to do now. He's coming out with that suit with the red T-shirt.
Looking like the Temu Weekend.
You know what I mean? And he's gotten better on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
He's done great things for himself, and he's excelled at what he does. And now look at him. He's going on Netflix against Roman Reigns in one of the main events for the Ula Fala. I don't see Jimmy doing that. No offense to him. I don't see fucking Jay doing that. So it is what it is. Solo Sikoa, number 10. Number 9 is going to be Cody Rhodes. I didn't have him on my list, but then I was thinking throughout the day and the matches he's had this year. He's kind of brought wrestling back, like that in-ring performance back to the WWE. Matches against AJ Styles, matches against Kevin Owens. Like, he's able to really have great matches with people. And as much as he's gotten stale now, I respect Cody Rhodes and I respect what he's done for wrestling and what he's brought to wrestling. Is he somebody that I want to see him continuously have the title? Absolutely not. They really need to shift that storyline. But the dude is a wrestling guy. He's a wrestling guy. He's for the business. He's going to do what he has to do. And he's able to take feuds that you don't think are going to go anywhere and put them to the next level.
Give the title to LA Knight.
Number 8, I'm going to go with Jacob Fatu.
Really?
I love seeing Jacob Fatu. I love seeing Jacob Fatu on my television. I love seeing Jacob Fatu in the ring. When you talk about the Bloodline 2.0 and who's really great in the ring, you're talking about Jacob Fatu. He's had such an impact coming in and being that guy for Solo Sikoa. Now people want to see Jacob Fatu in main events. They want to see Jacob Fatu go up against Roman Reigns. His time is not yet, but he's building his time to get to that level. And I love just seeing that character. Dude, the guy is fucking insane. He's insane. I'm surprised he hasn't broken his neck yet. Okay. He's athletic. Like, I would like to see him go up against guys in AEW, the flips and trick guys that Cavallo doesn't like. I'd like to see Jacob Fatu go up against them. In 2025 is going to be a bigger year for him. I don't know what they're going to do with him, but they could do some really great things with him. And I'd like to see that feud with Roman. Number 7, MJF. And the reason MJF is because I didn't know I liked wrestling that much, but MJF is the real reason why I got back into wrestling. And MJF wasn't there from about January till I want to say May, June. And he is the face of AEW. Like, he's the reason why I turned on the TV to watch AEW. The dude is impeccable on the mic. The dude is a god on the mic. Okay. Like, as a babyface and even more as a heel, he's able to turn babyface into heel back into babyface with just a couple of words on the mic. And just what he could do in the wrestling ring, dude, the guy had a fucking huge injury. Like, he was out of action. And he came back and just annihilates in the ring, is able to have 5-star matches. Yes, Steven Meltzer.
Yeah, because
Like,
I'm tired of y'all in these 5-star matches. Relax.
Like,
Everybody just relax.
WWE needs an MJF.
No,
And
they don't.
And the closest thing to an MJF that they have is somebody else on my list, and I'll get to it after. But MJF is he's the total package of what you want in your wrestler.
MJF.
And
How about that? Instead of saying they needed MJF, they just need MJF. How about that?
one day he'll go there. I don't think it's going to be soon, but one day he'll go there. Number 6, he's in my top. That's Braun fucking Breaker.
Okay.
We could sit here and talk about him, but this guy has just excelled to a different level. For him to come from NXT to WWE and give him the IC champion, okay, and make him have the title for a while now. He lost it to Jey Uso just for Jey Uso to go into a different storyline so that he could lose it back because of the bloodline. And that was like 2 storylines into one. And Braun Breaker is just great, and he's learning. And I love to see it. When Brock Lesnar first came, he was atrocious on the mic. He learned, and he became the beast that he was. And that's the same thing for Braun Breaker. The difference is, you know what I mean? You know what I would love to see? I would love to see his dad or his uncle be his manager and see what they could do with him. Just mold him into that next level. I don't want to see Braun Breaker get the WWE champion in 2025. I don't. I want him to continue with the IC champion, get into great feuds, have a feud with Bronson Reed, have a feud with Rollins, have a feud with other people. Just get that learn. That's the word I'm saying. I want him to learn from these guys because he could be really amazing in the next couple of years. My top 5. Cavallo, you ready? Number 5. Number 5 is going to be the OTC Roman Reigns.
Goodbye.
We could sit here. Well, he was your number 1. I don't get it. I don't understand. I think Cavallo chooses what he likes and what he doesn't like.
Why is he so far away from number 1? Is my
number 5, Roman Reigns. What Roman Reigns is able to do, how he's able to turn a crowd, how he's able to have that much of an impact. Roman Reigns. Okay. Again, I'm super happy of what Roman Reigns has done. He was my biggest impact comeback this year. I find his wrestling matches lately have been a 4, 5, 6 move match. I want to see more of him. Okay. Maybe it's just because he's a babyface now and all babyfaces have like 4 moves like John Cena, but I want to see what else he could do. That's why he's at my number 5. Doesn't mean I dislike him or I like him less. I just want to see him more in the ring. I want to see the beast of Roman Reigns, what he did before he became a babyface in the ring, annihilate people, spear people, throw, like, you know what I mean? I find they kind of, since he became babyface, he looks a bit weaker than what he is. So I want to see him come into his shell as the babyface. Not saying he's doing a bad job. I want more as the babyface. We had those babyfaces that were able to annihilate and destroy people. Number 4 is going to be CM Punk. I turn on my television because I want to see CM Punk. Okay, my kids love CM Punk. My daughter and my son can sing the Living Color CM Punk theme song. He's a badass. He reminds me of me.
Shut the hell up.
It's just CM Punk, and he's just phenomenal on the mic. He gets you every time. He's able to get under your skin. just look, he came in, we had that really terrible match at SummerSlam, but he was able to pick and learn from it, okay, and have two other great matches with Drew McIntyre, the strap match and the Hell in the Cell. Okay, he did a great job as that jobber, you would say, in the War Games. Okay, Drew McIntyre is a love-hate relationship, whether it's with myself, the three other guys in this room, or everybody in the world. Look at that. When he came in, he was the referee.
Mm-hmm.
He was the referee and screwed over Drew McIntyre. Did you want to punch CM Punk in the face and feel bad
Right.
for Drew? Yes, but you loved it. You loved what he did. And I think it's super important for him to be in wrestling right now. He elevates wrestling. Number 3, press that red button, Cavallo. That red. Actually, you're not pressing the red button. I think you got to click on the red button. But I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre.
Yes, sir. I told you.
Drew McIntyre, man. I could sit here and try and find something negative. I could look at my red book. I could look at my alligator book. I could look at. I could look anywhere. Drew McIntyre, man. What has Drew McIntyre not done this year, man? He's done everything, and it's amazing to have a guy like that for the company. Okay, he's putting Punk over. Shouldn't Punk be putting him over?
No.
You just don't like Drew McIntyre.
I like Drew McIntyre. I just think he should be number 1 on the top 3.
He's not my number 1. He's my number 3.
He should be number 1 or number 3. I feel like he could be number 9 or 10.
Absolutely not. What? Makes no sense.
Yeah. Who
Drew McIntyre
10.
He's the biggest heel.
Right, what are you talking about?
The biggest?
Right now? He's a demon.
I'm gonna let you finish.
He's a demon. Okay? He's a demon.
Yeah.
He's doing things that other guys would not be able to do if they weren't Drew McIntyre. And I'll be honest with you, and Derek could say it right now. When Derek used to tell me that Drew McIntyre was one of his favorite wrestlers, I used to question him again. But what I saw Drew McIntyre bring to the table this year in 2024 is next level. He's going to become a beast in 2025 and have that strength that Brock Lesnar had. Okay? Number 2, número 2, is Swerve Strickland. Wrestling needs a Swerve Strickland. The guy is excelling time and time again. I used to like Swerve Strickland for just him telling stories and his image and his character. And I was like, he needs to get better on the mic. Since they gave him that championship, he was able to put AEW on his back because MJF was not there, and he fucking skyrocketed AEW. He was that main event guy, and he had those main event matches, whether it was with Will Ospreay, Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe, okay, Hangman Adam Page, and he lost the belt and is able to still have great quality main event matches against Hangman Adam Page. Now he's going up against Bobby Lashley.
The Hurt Syndicate.
Amazing what he could do, and amazing that he won the title from Samoa Joe and was the face of AEW. I gotta pat him on the back.
Where is Samoa Joe?
He's filming Twisted Metal TV series.
Oh, that's one.
Yeah. And my number 1, you guys can all hate me, but wrestling wouldn't be wrestling without him.
MJF.
When his music hits, I get excited like I'm a 12-year-old watching wrestling. Derek, do you know who it is?
Yeah, I know who it is.
It's Seth freaking Rollins. Seth freaking Rollins. Cavallo, please start thinking. You like to say that nothing happened after WrestleMania? And there was nothing exciting or wow factor after WrestleMania? Think about before WrestleMania, Seth Rollins and the matches he's had. And him being the face of Raw. And him being that guy. and coming back after injury, being able to lose to Drew McIntyre, coming back from that injury, fucking having, again, fantastic matches, being that guy who's able to tell stories on the mic. He has that energy. He has the wow factor. He is the wow factor of wrestling. He's the guy that'll give you the main event matches, and then he'll slide down to the mid card and still give you top matches. And I'll be honest with you,
He's rolling his eyes.
the music,
It's annoying.
the charisma, the attitude, the energy, like what he's still able to do in the ring after that many years and that many injuries. Okay. He's not a flips and tricks guy. He's an all-around wrestling professional wrestler athlete. He has it all. As much as I say MJF has it all, he's a total package as well. Seth Rollins. That energy, come on. And that's my list. Top 10, 2024.
Solid list.
Not bad, the list.
Not bad at all.
I think a lot of discussions can be had, but
Mhm.
not just for Steven's list. I think all our lists have
Yeah,
some
'cause you
question
had Rhea
marks and
Ripley at like
some
really
stuff.
high, and I was surprised. Like you had Rhea
Yeah.
Ripley really high. You had
because
her
I
like what, number 3?
well, it's because honestly, I could have done a men's list and a women's list.
Yeah, same.
And it honestly felt really unfair to just put men on my list whenever women have had such impact and were so prominent in storylines, and
Same.
you have no choice but to look at terms of who gets pops,
Right.
who gets good matches,
Yeah.
who gets the promo work, who gets pushed by the company. You have no choice. You have no choice but to have women on there. And listen, like, you mentioned Io Sky. Io Sky almost made the list because she's been phenomenal. I think Io Sky Bailey at WrestleMania was a hell of a goddamn match.
I was gonna say that one.
Yeah, you got to put. Personally, I had to put women on the list because women
Yeah.
really made themselves undeniable. And I also can't say that the most impactful moment is going to be those 2 belts and not put women on the
Put
list.
the
I just
women
can't do
there,
that.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why
can't
I
do
had
that.
Liv Morgan.
yeah.
I had Liv Morgan, Bianca, Io. Yeah. I could have put more, but they had a good year.
But I think it's honestly been it's been an odd year. It's been a good year, but it's also been an odd year because a lot of people took breaks. Like Roman Reigns had a pretty prolonged absence.
Right. That's
You
why I
know,
don't understand how you number one.
CM Punk
okay.
was hurt. Drew McIntyre was off for a while. So there's been a lot of stuff, and also lately, like within the last, I tried to not make my list be really like recency biased, but lately,
Same.
like the last 2 months have been really good. I think Kevin Owens he's on a tear right now.
He's on the tear, yeah.
Had Kevin Owens been the Kevin Owens he is now 4 months ago, he would have made the list. Like I think Kevin Owens is doing some phenomenal work right now.
Yeah, this is some of his great
He's a menace.
work.
He's a menace. I think heel Owens is a very severely underappreciated heel because
I can't wait till you get to Sami Zayn.
Oh my God, he just has that aura of he doesn't give a damn. He's going to do what's best for Kevin Owens. He's going to keep it as it is. And honestly, I want to see Cody Rhodes lose that championship, and I want him to lose to Kevin Owens. I want to see champion heel Owens. That's what I want to see.
You look good with that wing eagle.
And I didn't know I wanted that. Kevin Owens made me want that.
And not just you. Did you see when he showed up to the Netflix thing?
It was amazing.
They were cheering for him.
They were cheering for him. He showed up. I sent Steven a video of him afterwards. Like he's like, oh, great champion. He's like, well, that's misinformation. He glues his poster on top of Cody Rhodes, and he's like, we'll get it fixed. And like he's just
let him loose.
Let him loose. Let him loose. That's it. Just let him cook.
Derek, since you're talking about Kevin Owens, what do you want to see in 2025?
overall, what I want to see in 2025 has nothing to do with a specific superstar, because I think, honestly, I trust Triple H a lot. And I know Triple H is going to do what's best for the superstars, because so far he hasn't disappointed. I want to see Raw on Netflix change the game. I don't want Raw to go on Netflix and it be the same Raw it always is or was. I want to see different. I want to see them bring back, I don't want to see them necessarily bring back the Attitude Era, but I want to see them bring back just a little bit more edgy content, a little bit more like raw aggressiveness. I want to see a little bit more of that aggression that we had in the previous generations of wrestling. I want to see them sort of distance themselves from the PG era and sort of like straddle the line in terms of making like Hell in a Cell, not being afraid to use blood whenever it's adequate. I don't want to see every match like, I don't need every match to be a Hangman Swerve match. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I do need to see a little bit more aggression. I do need the guys that really capitalize. Like, I think Drew McIntyre is the kind of guy, he capitalizes on his aggressiveness. Kevin Owens capitalizes on aggressiveness. I want to see those guys let loose a little bit more. And I want to see a clear distinction between the good guys and the bad guys. The bad guys would cheat. They would use moves they're not supposed to. They would go out, hurt people. And the good guys would do everything to win clean as much as possible. I want to see that essence. I want to see Raw on Netflix bring that back, like the excitement and the what's going to happen next, rather than the more generic approach to wrestling right now. That's what I want to see for 2025.
Trap?
For 2025, I just want to see Raw on Netflix. I just want to see how that is, and I want to see really what I'm looking forward to is this that and the deal AEW got with Max, I think it is, that's coming up. I just want to see how that's going to work and see how that, because again, like I said before, like I said, it's needed because we don't need just one company. Because it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work well. Everybody can't go to one company. So I think it's beneficial that we have all these different companies. And I feel like it's convenient for if wrestlers need to go over here, they could go over there. You never know how you might be over here. I use the example all the time. Ethan Page he felt like he wasn't doing nothing at AEW. He goes to NXT. Now he's doing good over there. Ricochet, he likes AEW. I think Jordan Grace is coming from TNA to WWE soon. So again, you need these companies. So again, I just hope for 2025. Really, what I want to see for 2025 is all wrestling companies thriving, doing well, and like I said, that way it could be places where these wrestlers can go if they need to be, instead of just having to stay in one place.
Yeah,
I get it. WWE is the end or be all. Your goal might want to be the WWE, but you got to start somewhere. So, and then you might like it and you might not like it. So you might want to go to AEW or TNA or wherever. So those options need to be available for wrestlers. Yeah. So,
and I think, Trap, you make a really good point in terms of before the WWE would try to absolutely put everyone out of business.
Right. Absolutely.
And now I feel like with Triple H just does what WWE does. He understands what AEW does and he lets them do their thing. And And then this year, against all odds, which we weren't expecting, TNA came out of nowhere and also offered a different product than either WWE or AEW. And they put on some great pay-per-views this year.
Yeah.
They have good superstars. They put on good pay-per-view shows. So I think not necessarily see them collaborate, but see them sort of work in terms of making the overall professional wrestling business better together by doing what each other does, not by trying to undermine other ones, but just by doing what they do best. I think 2024 was a really good year for wrestling. 2025, it keeps going on that ascending path. I think it's 2025 is going to be much better than 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I like to see.
Yeah. To me, I want to see Gunther get dethroned by Drew McIntyre. I want to see Cody Rhodes get dethroned by somebody and have a phenomenal feud with them. Most probably, I'd like to see that happen with either Drew McIntyre or Randy Orton. I'd like to see Braun excel. Braun versus Bronson Reed. That could be something incredible to see. And I want to see Finn Balor get a push. I want to see Finn Balor back on top. I want to see Finn Balor have a match with Braun Breaker. I want to see Finn Balor in the World Heavyweight title or the WWE Championship match. I want to see Finn. Like, Finn has so much potential. He is great in the ring, but he has so much potential to be the top guy. So I'd like to see what they could do with him. And yeah, the Netflix stuff, all that jazz. I like to see what Netflix is gonna do. It's something crazy. I've never seen that in my life. Raw on Netflix. And what they're going to be able to do with that, and what Triple H's brain is going to be able to create, because the dude is doing such an amazing, phenomenal job with wrestling right now. Is just amazing to see, and he's bringing back that energy that has been gone for so many years. Triple H is the guy. It's the Paul Levesque era. So I'm
for the first time since '93, Raw is not going to be on USA or just on general TV cable network.
Crazy.
That's the longest episodic television show
ever
in history. I know.
Crazy.
They miss no Mondays.
Crazy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
What about you, Cavallo?
Yeah, I
What do you
wanted
want
to
to see
end off with
2025?
Cavallo. Let's put the light on Cavallo, and Cavallo is going to end the episode. He's going to end Wrestling 2024 for us. Cavallo, what's going to make you happy to see
know,
in
right?
2025?
Nothing is happy. He's like the Grinch for wrestling. He always,
y'all just do too much. Y'all give too many props for these motherfuckers. But anyways, for 2025, I would like to see more attitude, more grit, more ruthless aggression, more OMG moments. I need something to get me out my seat. I need to see more of that for the whole 2025. Especially with it going to Netflix. Like, I just want more edgy. Like, I think Derek or Steven said, I forgot who said that they want it to be more edgy or more gritter. So I want to see that. Because I'm biased, and anyone who knows me know how I feel about Bray Wyatt, I want them to do so much better with the Wyatt 6. I'm really disappointed to how they came with such this attraction, and their debut was so good, and now they're barely there, and Triple H barely do anything with them. I want him to improve on them. I want to see more black wrestlers on PLEs. I don't know what the hell he's doing with Carmelo Hayes, losing every week. I don't know what he's doing with the Street Profits. I don't know what's going on with Papa H and his black wrestlers, but he needs to improve. I just
using Bianca Belair, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm talking about the men's wrestling. I'm talking about
Bianca Belair, not the only black wrestler.
Yeah. Right. But and I want him to do more with the tag team, title. I feel like, I will see now, like, now that the War Raiders is the tag team champions and Johnny Gargano knows tag team champions, hopefully that puts them on a pedestal to do more. Because I feel like he goes back and forth. It's a great storyline with tag team champions, and then they just not being used at all, or they're like a secondary title. So hopefully the tag team division is improved. Hopefully this episode of January 6th, I need it to be great. I need to see Brock Lesnar back. I know how Trap feels about that, but I need to see Brock Lesnar back.
That's not how I feel. It's not I'm just saying, y'all keep wishing for something that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. I never thought CM Punk would be back. I would have said 2 years ago that would never happen, but he's here and he's live in the living color. So
but he didn't have that allegation against him, so that's different.
I know he said a lot of allegations to WWE, and he actually sued them, so it's even worse. But that's either here nor there. But yeah, that's what I want to see for 2025. Just more grit, more attitude, more edgy.
I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of you. Trap, I appreciate you. Thank you for bringing amazing things to the pod in 2024. You did a phenomenal job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking it. Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you greatly for what you did for us, and being the V-neck Lord.
Thank you.
Derek, the new guy. I like to call you the new guy, but I appreciate you. Appreciate what you brought to the podcast as well.
Definitely.
You've been doing a phenomenal job. I appreciate the cat in the background.
Always.
We love you, Derek. And Cavallo. We appreciate you. We appreciate you as well. Thank you for parting the fucking top 4 PLEs. Thank you for parting this episode. We appreciate you. Even though you don't agree, you don't like anything, you're always in a bad mood. I just don't agree with y'all.
I
No,
just
he
don't
just
agree
always
with that. And
making
sometimes that
faces.
just don't make sense to me. That just don't
No,
make sense
you
to me
just
sometimes.
always
But
But
it's
you
making
don't
okay.
make
faces.
sense because there's nothing you like. Everything we say
Yeah,
you don't
he's
like.
I'm saying
Everything
that
we
I like a lot. I just don't think Drew
everything
McIntyre
we
should be number
say.
one. That's not true. I agree with most
Everything
of
you
your
say,
list.
he make faces.
Most of your list, Steven, I agree with. But Drew McIntyre being in the top 3, I just don't agree with. But that's okay. I can have that feeling.
What year
You're
was you
allowed.
watching wrestling where you don't think Drew McIntyre was in the top 3? I don't understand that.
This year,
Yeah, this year. That's what we're talking
yeah,
about.
he shouldn't have been. He maybe the last 3 years he could have been from 2020 to 2023. Yeah, but 2024, no.
I just want to
Sir.
say one thing before we get up out of here that's very important. Cavallo doesn't really watch. He skims through it.
Oh, you don't
I
watch.
appreciate you
I
all.
watch.
Thank you for joining. If you haven't liked and subscribed, Trap, please tell them to like and subscribe and give them 5 seconds.
Please, if you haven't already, which Derek told you in the beginning to like and subscribe. But if you haven't, we're giving you time to do that right now. And thank you. Hopefully you liked and subscribed, and hopefully you made it all the way to the end of this episode to see it. And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Happy holidays.
Peace. Happy holidays. Enjoy. Be safe. Watch wrestling. Listen to music.
Listen to music. Yes,
Do all
go
that
check out
jazz and hate
go
on
check out the
Cavallo.
last episode. Go
Yeah.
check out the last episode also of the top 10 hip hop of this year. Please go check out the recap. Leaving our time.
And
Wherever you subscribe to podcasts, go check it out.
Cavallo doesn't like Canadian wrestlers.
You are the biggest hater of the biggest Canadian wrestler of this generation. So that's
Thanks for joining.
bye.
Peace.
Hello guys, thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate you guys reaching out and calling on me to give you guys my opinion on my top 10 and sharing my top 10 with you guys. I'm super thankful and I appreciate that. Before I get into my top 10, I want to name 2 wrestlers, 2 honorary mentions that could have made the list. Probably should have made the list. Number 1, Zack Sabre Jr., one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. He has a victory over Daniel Bryan. He's put on a classic against Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy. And he just beat Naito for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. That right there is a fucking fantastic resume for 2024. Not to mention a ton of other matches that he's had. So I think that's somebody who's definitely going to be on the radar next year for sure. Number 2, somebody who was on my list, but I actually took him off, Joe Hendry. Listen, this guy is over, okay? If you've seen him at No Mercy for NXT, the crowd loves him. They sing along with him. There's a lot of work put into his character. His theme song is catchy. They do the close-up on his face when he does the turnaround. He does the turnaround in the ring. He does the wave with the crowd. He's amazing. I think when he makes that transition from NXT, when he makes the transition from TNA to NXT, we're going to see more of him. He's definitely going to be on everybody's radar next year. Now, to get into my top 10. At number 10, I have Jey Uso. Now, everybody is comparing this run, this hype, to Jeff Hardy's 2008 run. I don't think it's anywhere near the same, but Jey Uso's hype and momentum is incredible right now. I personally thought he was going to get lost in the shuffle coming out of that amazing storyline with the original Bloodline. But he's took that momentum and carried it into his solo career. He even just got his first Intercontinental Champion from this solo run. My only concern is that there's so many heavyweights and A-listers ahead of him. I don't know how many championships he has in his future, but I can see him continuing this run. At number 9, I have Braun Breaker. Now, there's a lot of guys who makes really good transitions from NXT to the main roster, but Braun Breaker has been flawless. I mean, it runs in his family. It runs in his blood. And you can see that Shawn Michaels and Triple H are playing it safe with him. They're not rushing it, right? He has the momentum. He's great in the ring. They keep his mic time pretty short. He speaks. When he does speak, it's short to the point. He's over. He's a tweener. He could be face, he could be heel. The people fucking love him. He has a very bright future, and I see them taking their time with him. But I think they could give him the wheels anytime they want to. It's just not now. Just not yet. Number 8, I have Timeless Toni Storm. Now, Toni Storm is unique to me because when she first came into the industry, when she first came into AEW, she had the momentum and it was really hype, right? Like most wrestlers that pop up. Died down very quickly. She was able to sit back and create this character that took the wrestling world by storm. You don't see this happen a lot. You see Matt Hardy did it. He had his moment where he created a character, took the world by storm. You see Bray Wyatt do it with his character, take the world by storm. And she had her moment where she created this character and took the world by storm in a very weak women's division. She carried that division. By the way, that division is doing much better now, in my opinion. But Toni Storm is amazing. I'm curious to see what she's doing now, because when you try to, piggyback off of a character like that, it's very hard. But let's see. I think she's going to be successful. I think she's earned the trust for all wrestling fans and, most importantly, TK. At number 7, this wrestler is going to be very high on everybody else's list. I have Will Ospreay. Now, my issue with Will Ospreay is what you're going to get from Will, right? You're going to get banger after banger after banger after banger after banger after banger after banger. He's going to give you amazing matches. He's going to give you 5 stars, 4 stars, 3.5 stars. He could wrestle with a broomstick. He's going to make it look good. I need more, though. There's a lot of boxes I still need him to check off. I would like a longer championship run. I would like a long-term booking feud. I would like you to get better on the mic. Pause. There's still a few things that he has to do for me personally, for me to really say, he's the top guy besides just performing in the ring. But other than that, the guy's fucking amazing. He does nothing else wrong. With number 6, this guy's also pretty low on my list, I will admit, is Gunther. I love him. And my notes right here, listen, he's had an incredible year, right? Came into the year Intercontinental Champion. King of the Ring winner. Great program with Randy Orton, by the way. Great Royal Rumble showing. He was incredible in the Royal Rumble. And he had a great program with the Judgment Day. My issue is the booking. My only issue is the booking. I don't like who they having him go up against night in and night out. I think there's a couple more guys that need to bring up their roster to make it look a little bit better. But he's going against Jey Uso. Dominic Mysterio 2 times, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods. I just need to see a little bit more versatility. I would like to see him going against more believable opponents. But other than that, he's delivered and showed up every single night. And he's earned that championship. So I'm excited to see what he goes and does next year. But I think there's more opportunity there for him, if that makes sense. At number 5 and 4, I have it tied in because I have CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Okay? Amazing fucking year these two guys had against each other. I'm kind of mad it all started with a fucking bracelet. It was kind of ridiculous. But WWE has been very safe with CM Punk, as they should be. I mean, the guy isn't a young spring chicken anymore, right? He's not fragile either. I hate to use the word injury prone, but he's a little banged up. You're going to be on Raw. You're going to cut a promo. You might take a spot. You might take a bump. And that's cool. We're going to save you for these bangers after bangers after bangers. We're going to save you with these matches. And Drew McIntyre has been carrying this motherfucker through the programs and the matches. All right. I think WWE's looking at CM Punk like, look, just stay healthy, show up for these matches, and give us some kick-ass promos. Let Drew do the rest. And they both delivered. Okay. Drew's a workhorse and CM Punk is showing up. So that's going to be my 5 and 4 slot. Now at number 3, at 1, 2, and 3, I had to break it up because I didn't want to have 2 AEW guys back to back. So I had to put somebody in the middle to break it up. So at number 3, I gave it to Swerve Strickland. I think Swerve is a fucking underdog. I think he got the keys and he took advantage of his moment. He took advantage of his opportunities. Okay. I think TK said, yo, you're ready. You earned it. Swerve Strickland is the fucking workhorse. Like, he's the person that took advantage of the opportunity. He shows up every night. You know what I mean? He's over with the crowd. His music is incredible. His matches with Hangman are historical. Like, this guy's really showing up every night, and that title run has to go down in the books. Now, I know the rumor is, or I don't know if this is official, that Will Ospreay said, hey, I didn't want to beat him for the belt. All right, cool. That's not going to change my mind. He's earned all of my respect. He's earned everybody's respect. And I know WWE's kicking themselves in the ass for not taking advantage of him a little bit more. But, you know, you never know what you got until somebody else has it and they do more with it. So shout out to Swerve Strickland. At number 2, I'm giving it to Cody Rhodes. Listen, Cody Rhodes, I don't know where this hate comes from, but he's earned everything he's got. All right. You come into the year, you win the Royal Rumble, right? He looks great at the Royal Rumble. You go against Shinsuke, right? In my notes right here, what did I write down? He had the street fight with Shinsuke. He had the bull rope match with Shinsuke. 2 great matches, right? You have a classic at Mania, right? You finish your story, then you have to deal with the leftover for the bloodline, right? You have great matches with everybody on that roster. He's just showing up every single night, right? I think he's just a hateable guy. He has that I hate you face, but he shows up every night. You know, he has a great championship run right now, and I think when you do long-term booking, I think this is the issue. When you have long-term booking, you're going to have moments where it's a little stale, right? It was a little stale for him where people are like, what the fuck are we doing? And now look, it's picking back up. I think us as wrestling fans, sometimes we have to be a little bit patient and see what's cooking. Just let them cook. We're going to get there. And plus, it's kind of hard to be the man when you're pretty much in Roman Reigns' shadow. It's unfortunate, but I think he's busting his ass. The booking is starting to pick back up for him too. So I think we're getting where we should get with him. The number 1 spot is a no-brainer. Bryan Danielson. Now listen, this guy, when he went to AEW, knew what we was going to get. We knew what we was going to get from him at AEW. The guy's a fucking wrestling machine. He went to AEW because he wants to wrestle. That's what he wants to do. He wants to wrestle. And goddamn it, he's wrestling his fucking ass off. I'm looking at my notes right now. 2024 was an amazing year for him. He took a lot of L's in 2024, but he did what he wanted to do in 2024. That's fucking wrestle everybody he can go up against. Like I mentioned earlier, he took an L against Zack Sabre Jr. In their rematch. He lost to Eddie Kingston, which was also a great match. He lost to Will Ospreay, which was also another really good fucking match. But he also beat Adam Page. He also beat Swerve Strickland for the title. He beat Jack Perry. He beat Nigel. He beat Okada. The guy's a wrestling machine. He's been the best wrestler for a long time. For a very long time. I think if he does decide to hang it up, this is a storybook finish. All right, finish this way. He's obviously going to come back. The stipulation as I'm going to retire as a full-time wrestler. You're going to come back as a part-timer. We're not dumb. We can fucking see it. He's deserved it. He deserves it. Listen, he could be number 1 for a long time. I think whenever he decides to wrestle, even if it's part-time, he's going to be the man. That match he had against Pac was amazing. Speechless, all right? There's nothing more I could say about this guy. He just really showed up every fucking day. I mean, he even went to CMLL, which is a Mexican wrestling promotion, beat Blue Panther. Like, he shows up, and he really earned his stripes, and he goes all over the world, and he wrestles against everybody. You can't hate that, all right? My name is Joey. Thank you again, guys, for having me on your platform. I really do appreciate it. And please remember, everybody, if I'm having a good day, that means you're having a bad day, all right?